here by...
I'm Joe. What's up?
And we are here to do some bonus beef. We've got an ill brethren of the beefy variety.
One like equals one prayer for Christian.
Yes, one like equals one prayer for Christian. Yeah, Joe, if you want to hit us up with our topics for the day, though.
Yeah, so we're going to be talking about, just general catch-up, cool gifts we got for Christmas. We got a nice beer to try, a local brew. And then Vito and I are huge MMO fans, so that's going to be our big story here. Without Christian here, we love Christian, but he's not an uber nerd like the two of us. I don't think he'd want to listen to us talk about our love of MMOs for 20 minutes. So this is the perfect time. All right, so yeah, let's crack into these, bud. Yeah, so we got
Tart Cherry.
Another Ruben's this time. Very pink can. Now I have tried this one already. Yeah. Very narrow spike there. This is the Tart Cherry Weisse, another of their sour series.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's better than the other one.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Than the Crayon Orange, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Tart Cherry is a perfect flavor for a sour, because
the
sour naturally, they mix together.
Funny thing is, I think I might like sours a bit better when they're poured out, because I've had them before and liked them pretty well, but then I think it might be from the can directly.
There's something about the Ruben sour specifically where it has that aftertaste, that like Bud Light aftertaste. That's just weird, That's not the kind of thing you see in a normalized sour. I actually have a funny story. So that big tree out front of my house, that's a sour cherry tree. Mm-hmm. And we don't do anything with the sour cherries because you really need to, you can make a pie with them, but you don't want to eat them. They're way too fucking sour. So Ara left out a sign. It was really cute. And there was a stepladder next to it that was like, it was rhyming. I can't remember the poem exactly, but basically it was like, take as many of these cherries as you want, bake them in a pie or freeze them or whatever.
Oh, P.S. I think you told me about that one.
Please don't steal my stepladder. 2 days later, stepladder was stolen.
Of course.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, this neighborhood kind of sucks. I told you I had that knucklehead sign. Mm-hmm. It was in the front yard for about 2 weeks before it got stolen.
Wow.
So annoying. Anyways. So yeah, Tart Cherry Weisse. This is a pretty good sour.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I dig it. Now I gotta mention, Vito. I know. Did you post this on the Facebook group, or did you just send it? No, you posted it on the group.
I did. Yeah.
Vito is wearing his Beefy Bois Bud Club. What do you call it? Beanie? I guess. Toque if you're Canadian.
Yeah. I got
good.
it for Christmas from my fiance's sister, because she does crafts. And she sewed on the patch onto an existing hat.
Okay. And did she make the patch herself?
Yeah, I think so.
With a sewing machine? The lettering is
she
really nice.
she does sewing and stuff, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's really good, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Nicely done. I got to show a picture of... So in Ara's family, where they do a family-wide Secret Santa, because there's like 20 of them, and it's easier this way than buying gifts for everyone. So one of the things I got was this travel coffee mug that has a picture of a giant exploding manatee in black and white, like the Hindenburg, and says, "Oh, the huge manatee." Apparently, Ara's cousin had me for Secret Santa, Aviva, shout out. She said she didn't have to have this custom made, that she found someone selling them on the internet, which means that I am not the only manatee-related pun creator in the world. There is someone else, so... Whoever you are, I would very much like to meet you.
I didn't know you didn't know. I thought manatees are commonly internet famous.
Are you being serious? I
mean, second probably only to narwhals.
In terms of marine life or just animals in general? I think you're gonna have a hard time beating cats.
Well, yeah. I don't know. I feel like I've seen a lot of narwhal stuff, at least back in the day.
Well, because they're unicorns.
Yeah, I know.
They're magical.
But then also manatees, so...
Huh.
I didn't think you thought you were alone, but you're not.
I just thought I guess I thought I was unique. My mom said I was special and all that, you know.
Well, you are special, Joe. You're
I
a
also,
beefy boy.
I told the story on the Christmas special about how I always get Hess trucks, and literally 2 days after that, a package arrived to my front door with 2 different Hess trucks because apparently they forgot to mail me one last year.
That's funny.
Yeah, they're right there. They're on top of the board game shelf right now.
Oh yeah, I see him.
Yeah. So, such is life around here, huh?
Yum.
All right. Got anything else cool for Christmas? Did you go anywhere? Did you do anything?
Just my fiance's like parents' house.
Oh, she lives around here?
Yep, and yeah, just amazing like dinner, really good food, great dessert. Had a birthday cake, birthday pie. That's great.
Birthday pie? What kind?
So when we were actually celebrating my birthday at our house, I got Marionberry pie, which is really good. I love Marionberry pie.
Your birthday is on New Year's Eve, correct?
No, Christmas Eve.
Oh, that's what I meant. Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve.
Yeah. So you're a late December baby like me.
Yeah.
Did you ever get annoyed at the double gift situation?
No.
/ did you get double gifts?
So,
or combined gifts, I should say.
I feel like as a child, I'd usually have got one for my birthday, one to open at midnight on Christmas Eve, and then one on Christmas.
Oh, so it was like a steady flow.
Yeah.
I see.
And then there were some years where it was just like stocking stuffers, and then there were some years where I got a fucking trumpet. So
there you go.
Yeah,
nice and big one. Yeah,
yep.
Yeah. I got our new. So we call this time of year Gift-a-mageddon because our anniversary is the 21st and my birthday is the 30th, and there's Christmas in the middle. So she got me a new set of tires, and we're going to Leavenworth. That's like my Christmas present. And then I got her a new. It sounds like it's raining over there. You know what we call those things, Vito?
It's a rice sack, right?
Well, it is. So yes, what it is a sack filled with rice, and you put it in the microwave.
And put it on your neck and stuff.
Yes, but we call it a popcorn because you trick the microwave.
Yeah.
You put it in and push the popcorn button, and it comes out perfect. So yeah, we told you about that before? Is that like a thing that people do?
That's the thing people do.
What? Really?
Yeah, I think...
You're blowing my mind, you know? I thought I made those up. I didn't know that other people had microwavable rice bags, heating pads.
No, yeah.
Or popcorn.
Funny thing is, my fiance's sister also made one of these for her grandma.
Are you sure that Ara isn't your fiance's sister?
Yeah, I'm sure.
that would be weird.
Yeah. She was over at our parents' house for Christmas.
I thought I saw you over there. Across the street from the fucking Mart. No, anyways, yeah, I just remember my birthday's on the 30th of December. And when I was a kid, it did used to annoy me. Not because, like, I'm a selfish kid, although I probably was. But I have a younger sister whose birthday is 3 weeks later. And she would never get combined gifts. So, like, come on, like, plan your budget a little bit better, everybody, for that 3-week period. That's all. Yeah, I'm calling you out, Renee. What's that, Renee? Oh, and Renee reminded me, we told the story of all of our crazy injuries, and I said I worked on fishing boats. I totally forgot the best injury story ever. This wasn't really an injury story so much as let's call it assault. My job involved counting a lot of fish, and when you're in a fish factory, you're very much just like they're sorting the fish, right, by hand. So very much you pick up a fish, figure out what it is, and throw it into whatever associated bin it belongs in. And the way this boat worked is they would toss some of the fish over the path I had to walk to get to and from my workstation. And they were usually really good at stopping throwing the fish that way as I walked by.
I think you've told me this
except for one time when I had just finished taking my sample and I was in a rush because I had to pee or something, so I wasn't paying attention. So I go up over my little bridge and I get a thwap right in the side of the cheek by a fucking rockfish. Now, I don't know if you know what a rockfish looks like, but it's basically all spines. Luckily, only the fleshy part hit me in the cheek. So... I mean, the guy who threw the fish was mortified because, like, I was basically a government contractor, so I'm like the law out there, and they're worried they just hit a police officer in the face with a fish. Like, what the hell's gonna happen? So I'm like wiping my face off, and I make a joke about it to the first mate, which was a mistake. I'm like, oh yeah, one of you guys is gonna hit me in the face with a fish. He's like, oh, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, fine. It's just kind of funny. I go, like, I think I went to bed, and I wake up the next morning, and James, the first mate, is like, so we had the meeting, and we're not gonna throw fish that way anymore, and he's going to apologize to you. I'll get him up here right now. I'm like, you really don't have to do this. He's like, no, I'll get him up here right now. And so the guy comes up and says he's sorry. And he's really, really sorry. And I'm like, it's fine, dude. I did not want to make this into like an international incident. Then they go down to get lunch. And like the factory foreman's like, did Santiago apologize to you? And I'm like, yeah, everything's good. Everything's good. And like the other foreman asked me the same thing. I'm like, guys, we're okay. Relax. I'm not going to sue anyone because I took a fish to the face. Okay?
That's funny.
It's just a hazard. Like, so when I was in college, I did a semester. The University of Maine has this marine research station. Like, it's on the coast, but not really. It's in like a river estuary that's like all brackish water. So like, you know, you're in a river, but it's the ocean, but you can see both sides of it. I don't want to get too deep into exactly what it is, but it's basically on the ocean. And one of my classes was this fisheries management class. So we used to go out and do these surveys that are essentially the job I had, just on a much smaller scale. So we were catching these fish. They're about yay big. I'm holding my fingers up at about 3 inches for those of you who can't see. And we had to identify what kind of flounder they were, and then put them on this little length strip to length them, and then you throw them over the boat. I was very hungover this day, to the point where my face literally turned green. The only time I'd ever seen it happen to anyone, and it was me. And so I'm like throwing the fish, and I'm starting to get in a rhythm, a groove. I throw the fish, and my professor walks by as I throw the fish. Smack him right in the side of the cheek. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, Professor Rick. I can't remember his name. He's like, yeah, it's not the first time I've been hit in the face with a fish. I'm like, okay. Yeah. Cool.
So, speaking of fishing, I've been playing Final Fantasy a lot.
What a master transition. Wait. Before we get into big topic, I know Christian's not here, but I do have to do our 2 minutes on football. Okay.
For those who don't know, in Final Fantasy XIV, there's a fishing
class
that you do fishing.
I mean, it's an MMO. Of course, there's fishing. Anyways, this is shout out to Christian. One like, one prayer, all that nonsense. Anyways, what are the Seahawks doing? Why are they running the ball up the middle 20 times? No yards. Only time they ever make any good plays when Russell Wilson just does whatever he wants. Their coaches should all be fired. Better luck next year, boys. Now, as a Giants fan, I am annoyed that both the Cowboys and the fucking Eagles won. I know. I'm going to assume you watch no football this weekend, Vito. Yeah, that's a valid assumption. But, yeah. The Eagles won because the Bears kicker kicked a field goal that hit the upright and then the crossbar and then bounced out. So it caught no points at the end of the game. It was nutty. Anyways, that's your football minute. I'm sure Christian will have a lot more thoughts on the Seahawks when he comes back next week. But that's our football minute. Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah, so Final Fantasy XIV. I know you played more so when it came out.
Well, I played at the relaunch or whatever, 2.0, when A Realm Reborn came out.
Yeah,
because I know it's weird.
So that's Final Fantasy XI.
No, they had Final Fantasy XIV, and it was awful. It was an epic disaster, and they completely retooled it, where they shut it down for like 6 months, brought it back, called it Final Fantasy. It was Final Fantasy XIV 2.0, they called it A Realm Reborn, which is the one that it's built on now, which is so different than the original version. Basically, they wiped everything clean. They just kept the name. In all essence, it's Final Fantasy XIV 2.
Yeah.
But they didn't call it that. So that's when I got it. So I wasn't there for the epic disaster that was the original 14 launch. And no, I never played 11 either. Ooh, burpee. This Ruben's one's always give me burpee, man.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, that was a time in my life, too, when I was unemployed at the time. So I had nothing to do. And I had never gotten into an MMO. That was also the first year I ever went to PAX, which is the Penny Arcade Expo, which is the biggest consumer electronics show for video games in the U.S. It's in Seattle every year. Labor Day weekend, shout out. And they had like they rented out like the entire lobby of a hotel downtown. So they had this huge display. They were everywhere. So I'm like, I got to check this game out. So I did, and I fell in love with it. I mean, I've always loved Final Fantasy games. You get all your classic enemies in there, your bombs, your Ahriman or whatever.
Chocobos.
Cactar, yeah. But like I said previously, I only got into WoW for like 10 minutes when I played on my buddy Chuck Booty's account.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Chuck Booty. If you're listening out there in fucking rural New York, I don't even know what you're doing anymore. But yeah, and I'm like, I can see why this is popular, but I don't want to get caught up into it. But the thing that appealed to it to me is that, you could solo it almost the entire way. Queuing for dungeons was a pain in the ass as a DPS class. But other than that, those really, in terms of main story quests, there's like 4 of them in the hundreds of main story campaigns. So they're mostly optional. And, you get your Chocobo mount, but you can like spec him out to basically be a tank or healer for you.
Yeah, which is great.
Which is really cool. So you can solo the whole fucking way, Yeah. So I didn't have to worry about all of that, like, dealing with Bong Ripper 69 or 420 or whatever the fuck I called him last time. And, it was basically a single play. It was basically an open world RPG that's just like has an absurd amount of content,
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking on that note, I know there's more. It's probably faster to level nowadays, because they usually do that. MMOs usually do that when there's lots of expansions and stuff.
Because people want to get to the new stuff and they usually lock it kind of level count. Yeah.
But I've been playing now for like 2 months, maybe, and I'm just now I've got level 66. And level 67 quests are all that I have left to get to for the storyline. So I have to grind out a dungeon or 2 or something.
Mm-hmm.
But and then the max level 70, and then there's the level 70 storyline. And I think this month, the first wave of 4.5 content came out.
Okay.
So there's that, and the second wave is going to be pretty soon as well.
Those patches are sizable. I remember that from back when I was playing, when it was when they dropped the one where they introduced Shiva, because like there's a whole quest line, and then you get the primal battle, and there's even more beyond that, you know, and so you don't even have to, like every patch you get new.
Basically all I've done is the story for like 2 months now. Yeah, and I'm almost at max level. And I still got like a ton of story, and then max level story, and then like new patch story.
So how does the story work? Because I know pre-expansions you would finish the main campaign, but then every patch would add stuff after that. So yeah. And then, but where do the DLCs add in? Is that just a separate track altogether?
So I don't know about DLCs.
Okay.
I only know about the main story quests being, the leveling, and then at max level there's a story, and then there's the patch stories that you go through, and then you get to the next expansion.
Right,
it's unlocked, and you do that main story quest to level through so you do like a bunch of questing without any leveling, basically, aside from like, because you have to do dungeons in order to do some of the quests. So you get you get like 1 or 2 levels or something while you're at max level content. And then you go to the new expansion level from like 52 to 60 or whatever, and then same thing. But there's just tons of story. One of the things I do have to shout out though is the Manderville quest line. That is amazing. I haven't finished it yet, so no spoilers.
That's the one Ultros is involved there. Is that correct? The purple octopus?
I don't think I've seen that yet. I think I basically just started the storyline.
It goes on for a while.
Yeah, it goes on for a while. And that might be one of the DLC things you were talking about, maybe.
I mean, it would have been patched in. I know it wasn't in DLC.
So I think the DLCs or like extra content are usually blue quests, which are like the blue ones with all plus. So they're not part of the main story quest. But they'll give you like an emote or like something, something
cool mount.
Yeah. So.
Well, you finished the main quest. You got your Magitech armor mount and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I got
cool,
Magitech armor mount. I've got Midgard
Final
Dormu.
Fantasy 3/6.
Or Midgard Dormer, the dragon
Okay.
mount.
Yeah. That was pretty cool, too.
And I got the airship mount from Heaven's Blood.
Heaven's Word?
Heaven's Word, yeah. I mixed Heaven's Word with Stormblood. And then I just got a new mount. I don't know if you care about spoilers or not. Yeah, so in Storm's Blood, I don't know if you played that one.
I bought Heaven's Word and I never got to the content even.
Yeah. So yeah, in Stormblood, I just got like a big like giant bird mount.
Okay. Like a Thunderbird or
yeah, kind of.
That's cool.
It's not like the super massive one with like 15 wings or whatever, but but it's basically like their version of what like a hawk, I guess.
Okay.
But like big and fluffy instead of like because they also have like normal ass hawks too. But yeah.
I know they gave out. It was like a 1-year anniversary type situation. They gave out a fat chocobo mount. There might have been a pre-order
I've
bonus,
seen it.
which looks it's like a fat chocobo chick.
But
yeah, but I
it's
don't
hilarious.
want to pay for it.
No, totally. Yeah,
Yeah, it was pretty cool looking.
it was pretty cool. They also have, based on how long you've been playing the game, they give you a little bit of rewards.
Yes.
And I think the first one you get is a cloud outfit from Final Fantasy VII.
Did not get that.
Yeah. So I'm sure if you like log back in,
I'm sure. Then you get your little pets too, like your toy airship and stuff.
Yeah.
Or I guess not pets, as minions, because pets is different.
Yeah.
Which class is it? The summoner? Which class is that?
Yeah, so Summoner gets Carbuncle as a pet.
Is it only Carbuncle?
I think for the most part, you get different colored Carbuncles that do different things.
That's boring.
But I think once you hit like higher levels, you get to start summoning actual like primals and stuff, like mini primals.
What, really? Oh,
Yeah,
that's cool.
because I've seen
That's
like
cool.
little Ifrits like following people.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Final Fantasy XIV primals or the old summons, so all your classic ones like Ifrit, Shiva, etc.
Yeah.
And then some they created.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Final Fantasy XIV is the only MMO I ever got into. So I didn't realize that like the auto looting or like shared experience stuff wasn't standard.
Oh,
I thought
yeah.
that was just the way it was. What is it like compared to? I mean, did you get into Guild Wars or are you just a
I did play.
World of Warcraft
I did
guy?
play Guild Wars as well. I don't
Okay.
remember too much of it because I basically played it when it came out. Got to level like 30 or so, and then got bored because it felt too grindy.
Well, I know Guild Wars created. They're called Fates in Final Fantasy XIV. I forget what they're called in Guild Wars, but those come from Guild Wars. Those like area that beeping on our end. That those like area group, not quite quests, but events.
Yeah, the
limited time
little like timed event quests.
Yeah.
That pop up on your map.
Sometimes it's like a mini boss. Sometimes it's just like collect
Stuff.
the cactus or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, dorky stuff
Like
that.
any old quest, but it's like based off the event area and has like a level tied to it.
Yeah. So how does it compare? Like coming over from World of Warcraft, is it a markedly improvement? Is it a big difference, or is it just like
So for
improving upon the framework that's already there?
So for me, I think there's just more to Final Fantasy than there is to WoW.
Okay.
I feel like WoW is really good at like one thing, and they do that right, and that's raiding. Mm-hmm. And their classes are fairly fun and a little bit more actiony in comparison because of the really long cooldown, global cooldown in Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But I've noticed that once I finally got into some higher levels, the global cooldown, I didn't care because I had so many different things to think about while the global cooldown was going on.
So it doesn't take that long.
Yeah, so like in WoW, you have like a rotation that you have basically memorized and you smash it until the thing dies. Whereas I'm still memorizing or whatever, but and like adding new abilities. But so with Final Fantasy rotation, but it allows it to be a little bit more complex because of the longer global cooldown. So you're thinking about, and also it doesn't like harm if you like cancel an ability to go dodge a thing, because dodging mechanics is more of a thing too.
So there's less of that like telegraph, like attack pattern on the ground, run the fuck out of the way, and
No, there's tons of that.
Oh, okay.
But there's or you mean in WoW?
Yeah.
There's less of it in WoW, but it's still there. But in Final Fantasy, like a dungeon I just did was a dungeon where one of the bosses was only mechanics. You didn't have to do any rotation. You just dodged stuff all the time.
Huh?
So, yeah, it's just more... I find it more interesting because WoW is very simple, but very polished. Whereas Final Fantasy is allowed to be a little bit more complicated and have things... just have more stuff. Like, their classes that for gathering and professions and stuff are actual classes with skills and abilities that you level up.
Well, that's like the cool gimmick is that you don't need to create a separate character because your class is just whatever class of weapon you have equipped.
Yeah.
So.
Well, but not even just that, but also like in WoW, professions are just like a list.
Yeah.
And,
this
then you
includes,
click
like,
it and there's a bar that fills.
your crafting and gathering classes. So if you put on like an you're a woodworker all of a sudden, you know?
Yeah. But whereas in Final Fantasy, you have like an ability that increases your chance to make your food shiny, or you know. So and there's the like basically the mechanics of doing the thing of the crafting.
Well, yeah, there's actually like a mini game built in. Well, it's like a puzzle almost, you know. It's like, okay.
And then they've got the Gold Saucer, which is like a gambling casino.
Yeah,
thing.
I played around with that a little
bit. That's really fun. Later. And then
I did like that Mandeville quest you mentioned.
Mandeville quest was really fun.
Yeah. He's supposed to be like Sherlock Holmes, but he's kind of an idiot.
Yeah, it's really great.
Oh man.
But yeah, I just like how many different things there are in Final Fantasy, and it really feels like a Final Fantasy game because I feel like in the single player games they also had all that extra stuff. Like there's I'm the hero of the day, and you got to do hard fights, and then there's just like the other 700 hours of the game.
Yeah. Underwater soccer and
Final
Fantasy X,
and I feel like
Golden Saucer.
Final Fantasy XIV really is really great. It is hard to get to like level 20 or 30, and like
it can be. I do remember that. Yeah, it can be a grind, especially
it's not so much a grind anymore, but it's just like if you've already been playing like WoW for like 10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
And you know MMOs, then you're just going to be really bored starting off.
The trick is, and I know that there's no way to do this, but they really need to let you go from city to city, because each of those city has lots of quests between level 1 and 10. But if you're only in your starting city, then you hit like level 8, and your next class quest is level 10, and there's nothing to do. And you're like, I'm just going to go kill some sheep or whatever.
Yeah, that's not really a problem anymore.
It's not?
Just because the leveling is so much faster now.
Oh, this was a problem when I started.
Yeah, so like if you're level blocked, you basically I did all of the quests and then figured out I didn't have to. And then I just did the main story quest all the way till like
oh wow,
the dungeons. Like I did like the first area's quests. And then everything else was just main story quests.
Yeah.
And then once you unlock dungeons, you can just do it like a dungeon or two on the duty roulette with the duty roulette bonus.
Yeah.
Which for those who don't know is the dungeon finder system for Final Fantasy.
Yes, they call them duties. It's of course. It's So this is a tangent, but you're familiar with Magic: The Gathering?
Oh yeah.
In general, you
know,
I
played it.
Tapping a card.
Yeah.
Do you know that's a copyrighted Magic term?
Yeah.
So
I think you told me that. Yeah.
Any other game that has that mechanic cannot call it tapping. They have to call it like exhausting or like resetting. That's so absurd to me.
That's hilarious. Yeah.
All right.
But yeah.
Did they ever put triple triad in? By the way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's like the main way to grind the currency for the Golden Saucer.
Oh, that's right. It was in the Golden Saucer. That's right.
Yeah.
I love Triple Triad.
Yeah. I still don't really understand it because I haven't really dived into it. But
bigger number wins.
Well, no, but there's like streaks and combos and shit that are really confusing.
Yeah, it gets weird.
Yeah, it gets weird.
Of course, it's obtuse. It's this weird Japanese card game they made up. The one
really
in Final
fun,
Fantasy IX was made even less sense. Like, at least in Triple Triad, you had numbers on every side. Like,
true.
if there's arrows pointing, they do combat. But sometimes you can just take a card for free. But sometimes you can't. Just figure it out. That was the instructions.
Yeah.
What?
So like, there's the very simple rules that it starts with, right? But then like, all of a sudden you're fighting somebody who's like the like second or third person you do card battles with or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And they get like an L combo thing, or like they'll put a card that doesn't beat yours and it'll beat yours and the one ahead of it, and I'm like, I don't even know what happened.
What? Shenanigans. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. I mean, granted, I didn't read any sort of tutorial that may have happened, but
we should do a top 10 Final Fantasy games ranking.
We should do. I mean, honestly, we could have a top 10 ranking just for the side games in each game, like separately.
Number one is snowboarding from Final Fantasy VII. Just kidding.
Yeah.
We're gonna make it hip. There's a motorcycle chase scene too.
Yeah, that was fun actually.
No, not going back to it. Oh, jeez. All right. Well, it's half an hour. It's a nice little bonus beef episode. Anything else to talk about?
I guess maybe just end it on Final Fantasy, where it's just I think it's a really good game. It takes a little bit to get into, but I think that's mainly just because you don't get your full rotation. Like even WoW didn't get a full rotation for a while until recently, where they reworked it, and so now I'm used to like leveling at low levels with a full rotation.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a problem. Yeah. I feel like. So like every MMO for the first 20 levels assumes you get like 3 abilities. An MMO, and you really need your handheld. Whereas like if you're used to these, it's like okay.
Yeah, totally. That being said, I think it's very beginner friendly, especially since the dungeons, they really do scale in like in a way that teaches you how to do the dungeons. So like
they are very smart about that. First one's so easy.
Yeah, they're all like very easy for the most part, but they all have mechanics. So everybody now knows that you have to follow the mechanics no matter what you're doing, you know. And then they do a really good job in scaling it higher. So like I'm a tank, right? Like Heaven's Word forward dungeons, like Heaven's Word and onward, doing the dungeons, I have to start actually on just trash pulls, popping a cooldown, and then like when that goes off, popping a different cooldown, kind of, just to do some passive mitigation using my active abilities. And that's something you'd have to do at lower levels, but if you're watching a guide for it or whatever, then they tell you to do that, and it's like, oh, so now if you did die, you'd know to start popping cooldowns on trash. But yeah, they just slowly bring it up. But also in the very first dungeon, like one of the very first dungeons you do, there's a boss where there's a mechanic where you have to have the bomb explode on the boss in order. It's a slime boss, and so it explodes into other pieces.
That's not the first one, but it's one of the first ones.
Well, it depends where you start.
I thought you had to do the one with the octopus Cthulhu monster at the end or whatever.
So
octopus wizard.
There's 3 starting dungeons based
I didn't know that.
based off of the area you start in.
Oh, that makes sense.
Then you do the other 2.
I see. That's why there were so many level 10 dungeons.
Yeah, so there's 3 starting dungeons, and you start with the one from your area, then you do the other 2.
Okay, because I started in the forest city, and I had to do the one with the squid wizard.
Yeah,
Squizzard.
Squidward.
He was easy.
But yeah, he was easy. But the slime boss, for instance, you can't actually even damage the boss. He's invulnerable until you do the mechanic. And so that teaches you from the very beginning that you can't just like smash your rotation into a boss. Yeah. You have to actually pay attention to the mechanics. Whereas I feel like with WoW, like until max level and even at max level, depending on how far the patches are along, like unless it's like the most recent content and maybe like the tier below it, it's all just trash easy.
Yeah. Well, and in Final Fantasy XIV, they adjust the level of your character when you go into an old dungeon.
Yeah.
So it's never just like you're never gonna want to hit kill a boss ever.
Yeah. Yep.
The level scale, that's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, but I think you can like enable a setting that allows you to go back into an old dungeon by yourself, and go farm it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I just learned about that today, actually.
Oh.
'Cause my fiance had to go back and do a dungeon for a hunting log. So.
Oh God. Hunting logs, pain in the ass.
Yeah. Well, the only hunting logs you actually have to do is it helps to level in the beginning, but I stopped doing it around level 40 or 50.
For my GC.
And I think after level 50 there isn't any, but I did it for the GC.
Yeah.
So, speaking of which, I'm 1 rank away from max rank in the Maelstrom.
The Maelstrom, get out of here! It's all about the forest people.
No. They're all peace-loving hippies.
The wood elves, yeah, man.
And
they're the best.
I'm all about being a pirate.
Fucking, yeah, I know.
And they have the coolest outfit.
I'll give you that. The woodland critters outfit is not very cool.
Yeah, the Maelstrom outfit is
I can't
amazing.
remember what they're called.
So it's just like a captain's coat and like a pirate hat.
And what's the? So it's the Maelstrom. What are the other two?
Like the Twin Adders is
That's the desert
elves.
Oh, is it the Twin Adders?
Yeah,
Oh.
and then the like blaze or fire or something.
Blaze or fire?
Yeah,
Or Bois, whatever. The
something blaze.
desert city. Even the
for
layout
Old
of that city was boring. Just 2 circles. Ooh, exciting. The one that looked like a coral mound. What city was that? The
Limsa.
Yeah, that's the coolest one.
Yeah, it is.
For sure. All right. Yeah, Final Fantasy XIV rules.
I like how I was like, oh, just on an ending note, and then we just like ran some more.
for 6 more minutes. Whatever, that's the Beefy Boys way, man.
Yeah.
We never have time codes. I can see them, but we never, ever stick to them.
Yeah.
We come in with topics, and we go 10-minute rant about getting hit in the face with fish. Oh, you know what? We did ask the group about New Year's resolutions. Might as well read these. Do you have any New Year's resolutions while I...
So, I don't have any, like, per se resolutions. However, I did just get a little bit of Christmas money, so I bought some running shoes.
Oh.
And so it's been something I've been wanting to do for a while just to sort of get on top of my health a bit.
Okay.
But it's just like not having running shoes feels like it'd be a bad way to start running. So I had to wait till I had money to buy running shoes.
Cool. All right, I got them open here. I am of the mind, and I know I outed myself as a quote-unquote Grinch last time when I said I don't believe in the Christmas spirit because you don't need an excuse to be nice to people. I feel the same way about New Year's resolutions. Why does what time of year it is? It doesn't matter. You can just try and make yourself a better person whenever. But that being said, I would like to get back on the health train as well. Eat more salads and less takeout.
Totally.
I was doing this 1 meal a day thing for a while, which I would not suggest because you get so fucking hungry. Yeah. But I would only eat lettuce, spinach before 5 p.m. every day. And I lost about 20 pounds in a month. But I was so hungry. Anyways. Oh, and I was working out every morning too, which I stopped doing, which I should get back into. But, you know, life finds a way to get in the way. All right, so we got 2 comments here. We got 1 because Haley is just trolling Christian about never taking her to the gym. So really we got 1. If you had to guess who left the 1 comment, who would you think it is? The answer is Tim. Yeah. Of course it's Tim. Tim says he doesn't really make resolutions because I feel like no one ever sticks to them. Also true. I feel like my point is better, but he says, but in the new year, I'd like to lose weight, better my finances, and be successful in school. And of course, he's such a shill. Of course, purchase some sweet Beefy Boys merch. You can find that at www.cafepress.com/beefyboysmerch1 for all your Beefy Boys merch needs.
And the beanie is not for sale.
The beanies are not for sale.
Yet.
Yes, if you make Vito an offer he can't refuse, maybe he can get you one. But for now, buy our other lovely products, like a T-shirt for your dog. Still waiting. I'm still waiting to see that picture on a dog. And while we talk about that, we do have a YouTube channel right now. It is, despite what our Facebook message said, it is not edited. It is very much explicit. So just be aware of that. Not for children. Not that the Beefy Boys ever were, but I'm just saying. You can find that. Vito, talk about something while I pull this up.
Talk about something? What am I supposed to be talking about?
I don't know.
Are you talking about New Year's resolutions? Well, I already talked about my New Year's resolution, but I don't know. I guess I need to, get my act together when it comes to studying for tech stuff, because that's what I want to do as a career. I'm gonna be
Tech stuff.
I mean, obviously, I'm gonna be doing Beefy Boys in the end game.
Well, we'll record on weekends. You can have a job.
No, but I mean, I expect us to get, ultra mega popular.
I love the enthusiasm. Yeah, the YouTube link is totally garbled and impossible to read out. So you can just search for Beefy Boys on YouTube and you will find us. We have the same, logo that we have everywhere else. Oh my God, my Google Docs is a mess. Where is the right one? Football. Oh yeah, the Huskies lost too. Christian would have gone off on that for a while. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Well, you can always just look at his Facebook.
Yeah.
He's always got like 12 posts a day of football.
He does love the ball of the foot. Here we go. Football. Okay, so it's time for everyone's favorite segment, the Surge Protector. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/BeefyBoys. Follow us on Twitter at Beefy_Boys. Follow us on Instagram, Beefy Boys Bud Club. We are on YouTube. Look up the Beefy Boys. Merch, as I said, cafepress.com/BeefyBoysMerch1. Subscribe on Spotify, iTunes. Like, share, subscribe. Keep smashing that button. You got anything else to add, bud? Play Final Fantasy XIV. It's awesome.
Yeah, and let's go play some Smash Bros.
Yeah, let's do it.